Shit, here we are, second episode. I was talking to a buddy the other day. We were talking about betting lines in Vegas. I had this thought. I was like, if Vegas made a betting line on how many podcasts we'd make, the over-under on that thing would probably be about 2. So here we are at episode 2, hitting the over. So I'd say we're doing something right. That being said, we're going to start off with the new segment here. We're going to call this one the Sports Time Machine. So today's date is April 25th. We're all going to go back to April 25th and pick a sports moment, funny story, statistic that we like. That being said, I'm going to go with 2006, April 25th. Miami Dolphins running back Ricky Williams was suspended for the 2006 season due to his 4th violation of the league's substance abuse policy.
Oh, man.
Many people thought that would be Ricky's last dance in the NFL. That being said, in 2009, Ricky came back and rushed for 1,100 yards and scored 13 touchdowns with the Miami Dolphins. That said, I'm going to kick it off to Tiago. What do you got for me on the Sports Time Machine?
I'll throw it back to 1974. The NFL moved the goalposts, and they adopted the sudden death playoff thing, which I think it added a lot more excitement to the game. And it's the same playoff stuff we are used to these days, which I love. I mean, it's all in one game. Either you got home advantage or not. It's give it all or go home, you know. So I'll go with that.
Like it. All right, I got 2. So the first one is I'm gonna throw it back to 1997. A baller, Kyle Mertens, was born. Had to throw that one in there. And then my next one is Johan Cruyff. He was born in 1947. I mean, he's one of the greatest players, you know, of all time in the football world, soccer world. He influenced so many players, Messi, Ronaldo, like you could talk about all of them. I'm pretty sure they'd all say the same thing. He created a different style of football, and then, you know, he's got his legendary move that's like just into our game now in the way we play. So that's my little time machine right there.
I like that. Bringing some soccer into the podcast, not something we usually cover. So I think that's solid.
Sir. Netherlands star.
There we go. Well, that being said, I think we need to just talk about this NFL draft, man. You know, it happened last night. A lot of solid players coming into the league this year. So, yeah, we're just going to try and kick back and talk about some of the best value picks, some of the best picks just in general. I'm going to start off here with Isaiah Simmons, linebacker out of Clemson. Drafted at 7 by the AZ Cardinals. You know, I thought the Lions might have taken him off the board there at 3. They took Jeff Okudah, the cornerback from Ohio State, instead. But you look at this guy, Simmons, man, bro. He's a freak. Took snaps as safety, linebacker, and edge rusher at Clemson. Runs sideline to sideline. A 4.39 40 at the combine. You don't see many players like that coming into the league. Great value at 8. The Cardinals got a player they need. They had a very thin linebacking core last year, and they also got the best player on the board there. And with that being said, you just can't do any better. So I'm gonna go there. But what do you guys got from me on draft picks?
Well, I gotta mention Matua. Obviously, I mean, it's been like a bumpy ride, like these past few months when people talking about what we should draft or not. There's a lot of opinions. I saw a lot of guys going with Herbert. Personally, I was happy with the Tua choice. I mean, for as long as we've been bad as a franchise, you gotta take some risks. You know, I feel like Herbert might be safe as a safe pick, but I mean, ceiling wise, Tua can just go way higher than Herbert. I think it's a gamble, but I'm pretty confident that Tua might bring us some success, something we've been lacking for these last years. But I was pretty happy, man. I think Tua can develop to be a great player, and also like we just now gotta like get a better O-line, protect that kid, make him learn, and I think it'll be great for us for the future.
I like it. My pick is gonna be Justin Herbert. I mean, he was just kind of interesting to me. You know, I kind of followed Oregon, so I just want to see like what he's going to do if he could develop into the NFL. He's coming in behind Tyrod Taylor, who's still there. So I'm assuming that maybe the they'll keep Tyrod Taylor starting and then slowly bring him in, or just like try to throw him in. I don't know what they're gonna do, but hopefully his game transfers over to the NFL. And I always heard like he was like a quiet leader, you know. So I don't know if that's something you want in football, but you know we'll see what happens. I hope he can make it happen. So
totally. I got some free smoke for you later on when it comes to Justin Herbert. So
oh
stay
gosh.
tuned for that one.
Now I'm gonna say though his last couple games are not too good though. You know he was kind of struggling. The last 4 games.
Yeah, he was struggling, but they pulled out that Rose Bowl win there. I believe it was against Wisconsin.
It was a close one though.
It was close, man. He kind of did it with his legs there at the end, but like I said, stay tuned for that Justin Herbert smoke session.
Oh man. I mean, I was gonna say though, I like that. I like your pick you talked about for the Cardinals. I think that was a good one, and they definitely did. They got the best player on the board while filling a need, you know. So, and then it was also I see where you could have went with the Lions, but I think they needed to fill that quarterback spot. So
yeah, they did
totally, and I think that's another thing that's interesting that we can talk about when it comes to. There's like 2 different draft strategies, right? It's like you either draft for need or you draft the best player on the board. You know, people that are experts in the industry and really know what they're talking about, they'll always tell you, you know, you draft the best player on the board because if you do that consistently, that's how you create a dynasty. That's how you stack a roster. But when you have the opportunity to draft for need and draft the best player on the board, you know, obviously that's just a win-win. With that being said, I'm going right into that second pick here. I like Jeff Okudah at number 3 to the Lions. You think about the Lions, they lost Darius Slay to the Eagles this year in the offseason, man. He's a top-notch corner. He was asking for too much money. They didn't want to pay him. You know, they had a lot of holes on the offense and defense last year they had to address. But that Jeff Okudah pick, man, that's great. He's got great size, great length. He's got the speed to run with all the fast receivers in the NFL. He can tackle pretty well. He's got great ball skills. Really has all the attributes to be a top-notch shutdown corner in the NFL. And the way I see it is the Lions are in a position with Matt Patricia in year 3. They got to win now because that window is closing. If Patricia keeps, rolling up duds season after season, he's not going to be in Detroit for much longer. So I think Okudah as a reinforcement on the outside, that's a benefit for the whole entire squad.
I mean, my second pick, I'll go with the second overall pick by the Redskins. I mean, I like Chase Young, man. Guy's a beast. And, he showed that in the combine. He showed that last season with Ohio. Guy's just a beast. He can change the whole defense scenario with the Redskins. And the Redskins definitely need, like, a guy like this. They need, like, someone to look forward to. The Redskins has just been like, as a Dolphins fan, I'm happy we're not the Redskins. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's even worse their situation. So I feel like Chase Young might be that guy, like a JJ White type of player when it comes to showing off and like putting the franchise on the map. I think like he can be that. He has the potential. It's definitely a great pick. And it's like you said, Max. It's like it was in my opinion, on the second overall pick, he was the best player on the board, and he was the need the Redskins had. So it's the perfect combination for them. And let's see how far it takes them, at least defensive-wise.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that one. My second pick is going to be Mekhi Becton, the lineman for the Jets. I think this is going to be a good pick for the Jets because they need someone to protect Sam, but they also need someone to help open up that rushing game. I mean, you have Le'Veon Bell on your team. Why can you not run the ball as good as you need to, Mm-hmm. And, say what you want about Le'Veon or whatever, but I mean, he's still, you can't deny the fact that he's still like, an elite running back. So I think they need to get him going. And this is a 6'7" guy who moves way faster than, he's 6'7", 364. But I mean, he doesn't move like it, he moves pretty fast. I mean, I don't know what his 40 was, but I just know he was moving.
No, he's mobile for his size, definitely.
Yeah. So I think that was a good pick for them. And then they also signed 4 other linemen, so they got to make something work.
Just touch on both of those opinions you guys had. Chase Young, man, he's a generational talent, dude. That guy is a freaking beast, dude. He's got the speed, he's got the strength. He'll be terrorizing NFL backfields for the next 10 years. When it comes to Becton, like you said, dude, his 40 time for offensive linemen is weighing in at like damn near 370 pounds. It's ridiculous. I was watching some highlights of that fool dunking basketballs in high school. Dude,
Yo, that's crazy.
he's just an athlete, bro. When you can get athletes that are strong and physical on the offensive line, that's what you need because it just opens the game in every different aspect.
I agree.
That being said, talking about athletes, I got to go to my Oakland Raiders. Oh, wait, did I say Oakland? I said Oakland. I think it's Las Vegas.
Dang,
It's Las
come on,
Vegas.
man.
The Las Vegas Raiders. Henry Ruggs III. What about that man?
I love it. That was mine.
I don't think too many people thought he'd be the first wide receiver taken off the board. But you look at that 4.27 40 speed. You look at, you want to talk about highlight dunking in high school? Well, he has a 40-inch vertical. I don't know if you guys saw those videos, but this man's out here taking lives, bro. Taking lives. Straight up. And the funny thing about his football career is he didn't even start like seriously taking football like to the next level until his junior year of high school. And when I see like how he could be potentially used with the Raiders, there's so many different ways. You got slants, curls, comebacks, flies, posts, end arounds. You know, the one knock on him at this point is his routes aren't so crisp. You know, I watched him tape back at Alabama. Like he definitely needs to polish, you know, some of his breaks in and out. And I think that'll take time, but he'll learn that in the NFL. I was also reading something that said he's kind of working with Randy Moss on kind of, you know, refining those skills. But if he's able to do that, I really kind of see him as that Tyreek Hill special type of talent that just takes the top off the defense.
I mean, speaking of wide receivers, I was going with the same pick as you, but now that you mentioned him, I'll go with CD Lamb for the Cowboys. Man, like I thought, like in my opinion, he was like with Henry as the best wide receiver in this class. I don't know what the Broncos were thinking. I would pick CD first, but either ways, CD with that offensive team the Cowboys already have. I mean, this was totally like picking the best player on the board because they already have wide receivers, they already have a nice offense, but putting this guy as the third option in this offense, that's crazy. That's just insane. I mean, you already have Cooper and Michael Gallup, and now you have like CD to replace Cobb. That's just crazy, man. I think like it's going to be interesting to see how Dak works with his offense to see if they finally make the playoffs. I mean, I don't see the Cowboys like failing anymore with this. I just think it's a complimentary pick. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have three receivers like that and a great quarterback, as they say, you got to make something out of it, right? Like you just got to work it out.
Got it.
I feel you. So on that note, I'm gonna talk about a third receiver in that little trio, Jerry Jeudy. I think the Broncos really needed that. They needed another receiver and a like almost like a star receiver. I mean, what are their weapons in Denver? Like, I don't think they have many. And correct me if I'm wrong, but is Emmanuel Sanders on his way out?
Emmanuel Sanders got traded to the Niners last year, and then he signed a free agency deal with the Saints in the offseason.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. So, I mean, and I know the Niners had to find someone else to replace Emmanuel Sanders, but Denver for sure needed somebody. And I think Jerry Jeudy is what they're kind of going to need. And then when you look at Oakland's pick, they had what, three options, you know, then you're in a good position if you're looking for a receiver and those are your three receivers you have to choose from. So I think it was a good pick for Oakland. I think everybody ended up getting a great receiver. So we just got to see how everything works out. Who works best in what system?
I'm just
absolutely. I'm gonna have to interject there. Kyle said Oakland there 2 times. It's okay, audience. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time getting adjusted to this whole Las Vegas thing. So bear with us. You took Raiders. Let's just go with Raiders. We can lock that one in. It's very pedestrian. We don't make any errors. You kind of took my Jeudy thunder there. I really like that Jeudy pick because you kind of talked about the Broncos. They do have some weapons, though. Cortland Sutton, out of Southern Methodist University, has been in the league for a few years. He's really developing pretty well. But if you pair, because Jeudy can really play in the slot, he can run every route. He's a technician. Like anything in the route tree, that guy can do. You just watch him in and out of his breaks, like. And I know this is a large statement, but dude, the way he cuts, the way he moves, the way he just toys with defensive backs, I don't know. I see a little smidge of Jerry Rice in him, man. And I know that's a big statement, but the dude
Very,
can
very
ball,
interesting
bro.
take. Very interesting take.
Dude can fucking ball. And I'll be excited. Obviously the Broncos play in the Raiders division, so that could be a problem for years to come. But I really like that pick from Elway.
So you guys would take those three receivers in that order, the order they were taken in the drafts? Because I don't know if I would go with CD first for the Broncos, honestly. It's
You
a
mean-
hard choice.
I think Henry Ruggs is going first every time.
Yeah,
I think so. I think everybody wants a fast offense,
Yeah.
So,
But between CD, I don't know, man. I mean, I've watched more tape from CD than the Broncos choice, but I don't know, man. I think that would be my order.
I don't. The way I kind of see it is like people are they're seeing what the Chiefs are doing, right, with the extremely fast wide receivers on the outside and the inside. So the NFL's always been a copycat league in the sense that if one team's having success, other teams are going to try and imitate that to garner their own success. So I could see a scenario where Ruggs definitely is first pick. But when it comes to Judy, like I said, just incredible route runner, like really polished, and he's advanced, just for his age and where he's at, now entering the professional league. But the thing about CeeDee Lamb is he's probably the slowest of the three receivers, but he just doesn't drop the ball. If you put in his vicinity, he's going to snatch that thing. And the other aspect is once he catches the ball, he doesn't have the speed, but you'd be surprised. The man doesn't go down. He'll juke you. He'll break all the tackles. So I don't know. I think it's just really hard to try and rank any three of them in any particular order. But I think for the most part, I think the Raiders, the Cowboys, and the Broncos are all going to be happy about what they got.
Definitely.
So that being said, I'm not going in any particular order here when it comes to chronological draft order, but I really like the Kenneth Murray selection, the middle linebacker from Oklahoma. The Chargers traded up with the Patriots to get him. It's just for the last few years, Oklahoma's had the crazy offenses with Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield. You look at Jalen Hurts. But you look at Murray, dude, the guy's just a force in the middle, always has his hat around the ball. He can cover well for a guy that plays inside. And I just think he's going to be a leader that's going to be in the middle for the Chargers for the next decade. And, as a fan that's followed the AFC West, the Chargers have been lacking, middle linebacker depth. And I just think it was a smart move.
I mean, definitely. I was pretty interested in the 30 overall pick by the Dolphins, our cornerback. I've been reading a lot about him, and a lot of people say that he's probably not league ready right now. I mean, he's not going to be like a Fitzpatrick. I mean, Minka Fitzpatrick all the way, right at the beginning. But I can see a lot of potential in him, through the line, and the Dolphins obviously are not going to be contenders for the first year with Tua right away. So I think him having time to develop as a cornerback, that's just great. We can have another great cornerback for us, another special defense player we can have. I hopefully that develops into Minka, because it still hurts to see Minka playing so great for the Steelers. But I don't know, man. I was interested in that pick. I cannot really say his name because it's really, really damn hard name to pronounce. But you guys know who I'm talking about.
Quarterback from Auburn.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if I have another pick that really kind of shocked me. I think the Giants did a good job with picking another lineman. I think that was something they needed. I'm not sure if that's probably the best pick they got, but I know that was good for them. And then another pick, I would say, I'm not too sure about the rest. I mean, I think they were just okay picks. I think they picked what they kind of needed. So.
I mean, I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, Max, that the pick that I chose, I thought it was interesting, the fact that he only played cornerback for the last 2 seasons because he used to be a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So might have a versatile player here. I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, totally. I think those kind of prospects are interesting. The ones that transition from offense to defense, like you said, it's kind of like a project when coming into the league. But obviously, the Dolphins believed in him enough to take him there at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
For the last pick that I have, like in terms of players that I really like when it comes to like a need and top player on draft board, I'm gonna go with Javon Kinlaw, the D tackle from South Carolina. The dude's just a beast. You look at him, he's just built from the legs up, like uses his hands well. He just absolutely destroyed offensive linemen in SEC. Like you don't see that much. And the other aspect is he moves well. He's going to be solid stopping the run and rushing the passer. And I don't know if you guys followed, but the guy has an incredible story. Like as a youth, he grew up homeless. Like I was listening to NFL Network and ESPN, and they were talking about he didn't know where he was going to be sleeping at night. He didn't know, where his next meal was coming from. He ended up going to play JUCO ball before getting to South Carolina. It took him a little bit of time to catch on at the D1 level, but he rose to prominence. And another thing about the Niners, I won't say a lot of great things about the Niners. The Raiders are now going to Vegas, but there used to be a geographical rivalry there. But the Niners did a great job. They found a way to trade back from their pick to 14. They got a fourth rounder out of that, and they also got the best player on the board and a player they needed because they traded Buckner to the Colts, and they need a force because they need D Ford and Nick Bosa to eat outside. When you have pass rushers coming up the middle, that only frees things up. So I won't say it often, but job well done, 49ers.
Actually, I agree with that. I think they did a good job with their other pick too, their receiver out of Arizona State. I think that was a good pick too. I remember mentioning it earlier. So I know they need another weapon on the outside. So
yeah, totally. They lost Emmanuel Sanders. Now they got Ayuk out of Arizona State. I don't know. I was kind of reading up on him. It seems like he's slightly a project in terms of his route running ability. He's got like extreme speed, but I think we all know Kyle Shanahan's kind of a wizard when it comes to scheming and drawing up plays and just getting mismatches on offense. So
exactly,
if he's teachable, I think
work.
He'll fall into line perfectly there. I think now we go to a section here where we talk about players that we didn't necessarily like where they were drafted, or we didn't like totally understand why they were taken where they were. With that being said, I'm just gonna hop right in first here, and I'm just gonna ether my own team, bro. I love that Rogues pick at 12, but Damon Arnett at 19, you got to be kidding me. Cornerback out of Ohio State, bro. What are we doing here? Obviously, what most experts when it comes to mock drafts say, like that's not, the final say. That's not like conclusive about anything. But across the board, most people had second and third round projections on this guy. Like, how are you going to draft him at 19? I will give Arnett a few props here. He played his last season at Ohio State with a cast on his right wrist with a broken wrist the whole year. In addition, all 4 years at OSU, he never gave up more than one touchdown. But from the viewpoint of everyone that seems to know what they're talking about, he apparently doesn't have the skills to be a shutdown corner. And there was guys like Christian Fulton out of LSU on the board, and it just makes you wonder if the Raiders know something we don't, or if they're just out here winging it. And if they are, why the fuck?
I mean, in my opinion, I was a bit curious with the Panthers pick at 7. I know he's a great D tackle and a great run stopper, but the guy really didn't have a nice combine performance, and we all know that his performance is solely based on his strength. And I don't know, man. I just feel like skeptical about trusting O linemen like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be the most tough guy, the strongest guy there, and like really heavy and really a nice run stopper. But when it comes to matter the combine and the pressure with the combine, if you perform badly, I don't know if you deserve like a top 7 spot in a draft that really had like nice O linemen, you know. So I don't know, man. I'm not saying the Panthers made a bad choice here. I just don't know if it's the best O lineman they could get. Well, I'm sorry, D lineman.
D-line.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm gonna say I've been hearing from all the NC people, and I'm not sure if that's a pick everybody likes. So
yeah,
I think NC agrees with you, but we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Mine, I did not really like too much was the Saints pick. It was mentioned that Sean Payton he said that they needed him and he named him as a team need, but the Saints just signed Emmanuel Sanders and they're looking for like maybe another weapon on offense, and then they definitely need someone to fill in for their linebacker position, and they need some outside rush. And if you got Drew Brees still on your team, you're kind of in a conversation for trying to make a run at the Super Bowl. I'm just not sure if that's exactly what they needed, but it is a center, so something you could always use. So.
Yeah, totally. Coming in second here for a pick I totally didn't understand was Jalen Reagor, wide receiver from TSU. The Eagles took him here, and Justin Jefferson was still on the board from LSU. Reagor's small, kind of shifty, quick wideout. He also has the potential to kind of return punts for the Eagles. But you kind of look at his experience and his ability in college. He's not the kind of guy that's going to go over the middle and make tough catches. Don't think he's the kind of guy that can really run every route in the tree either. It's not so much that I really dislike Reagor as a player, but I just can't understand how the Eagles will pass up on Justin Jefferson from LSU. That to me is just a big question mark and makes me wonder kind of what management there is doing.
Well, for me, the next one, I'll just mention first that I don't really think it's a bad pick once again, such as the D tackle from the Carolina. I just think it's a what if. I'll go with the Seattle Seahawks pick for an inside linebacker, Jordan Brooks. Quins was still on the board, and he was picked right after by the Ravens. So I don't know. Personally, I would think I would go with Quins. I like him more, but I think it's like it's hard to pick when you hear. They're both really nice inside linebackers. But in my opinion, I think the Seahawks might have made a slight mistake by picking Brooks ahead of Quins. But that's just my personal opinion, and yet again, I don't think it's a bad pick. Not at all. They're both great inside linebackers. I'm just saying, like, I would rather go with Queen on that pick.
All right, I think on mine, I'm gonna say Clyde Edwards for the Chiefs, the running back for the Chiefs. I'm just not too sure how this works. They have 3 or 4 other running backs already, so maybe they have a master plan. I mean, I know they were looking for. I know they don't have a certain running back that's an every down back, such as like the Giants or maybe even like the Jets or somebody. But you have 4 other running backs. I don't know what exactly you need another running back for in the first round. I think you could have went somewhere else with that pick. So, but correct me if I'm wrong. So,
yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting pick. But at the same time, I kind of feel like Edwards-Helaire really does kind of fit the mold of what the Chiefs try and do. Yeah. He's kind of a smaller scat back in terms of he's small but pretty powerful. Like to an extent, you can kind of compare him to a guy kind of like Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
But he catches the ball out of the backfield really well. And if you're going to play running back for the Chiefs, you need to be versatile because Patrick Mahomes is going to do some crazy magician shit every single Sunday. So if you have a guy that can kind of, make things up on the fly like Mahomes, I feel like that's what the
pop out real quick,
exactly.
Be open for those kind of passes.
That's what I think the Chiefs are really trying to do. They have this vision, right? This plan of just speed at the outside. Obviously Travis Kelce is one of the best in the league at tight end, but I was slightly confused by the pick, but I think it matches the system and wouldn't be surprised if it works out well.
See, when you mention it like that, just speed and all that, I can understand that people are going to get tired. You just need to constantly rotate these players. So maybe going that deep in that offense could work. So I like.
Yeah. No, totally. I don't know. I thought maybe they could have gone defense there, but they went offense. So that being said, my last confusing pick here really made me scratch my head. Jordan Love, quarterback, Utah State. The Packers traded up to draft Love at 26. So the thing about Love is I really like his talent. Like, the guy can move in the pocket, he can make all the throws, but on the other side of things, he led the FBS with the most interceptions last year. So there's a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to his game. It's undeniable, like the talent is really there. And like to a sense, like he mildly reminds me of Russell Wilson somewhat. Just how he moves in the pocket, and just how he can kind of pull Houdini stuff out of a hat like pretty frequently. But what I don't understand is why the Packers would draft him there. Like, is Aaron Rodgers not the man anymore? Like, has the window closed there? I don't understand, because if you believe that Rodgers could go get you another championship, why are you not adding pieces on offense or defense to like make that window happen now? Because that's a first round pick you're not going to get back. So I don't know if it's, Rodgers Favre all over again, where he's going to be groomed into the system. But I'm just curious, the outlook and objective that the Packers have made me wonder.
I'll have to go with the same pick as you, but I'll just mention the fact that when Rodgers was picked by the Packers, he didn't have the best relation with Brett Favre at the beginning, specifically for the same reason. Like, Brett still believed that they could just pick other guys to help his offense and just to keep building around him to make another championship run. I know what you're saying. I truly understand that if the Packers were to believe in Rodgers, they would just get another piece for him. But I also think that getting a quarterback, especially like a quarterback like Love, that you don't expect like as much of him as Tua or Herbert or even Joe, but you can like let him develop with Aaron Rodgers. Let the guy have his own time to develop, just like Rodgers had his time during the Brett Favre time there. So I think it's a great pick. I think they're just repeating history right there, or at least they're trying to get the next generational quarterback. And we all know that they believe that the Packers organization believes that's the best way to get a generational quarterback. It's not drafting like an instant talent to play the season right after and be the starting quarterback like Kyler Murray happened last year with the Cardinals. I think the Packers believe about developing a nice quarterback and picking one right away instead of just waiting for Rodgers' era to be done and then suddenly be having the trouble of finding a generational quarterback from one day to another. So I think it was a nice pick for them.
That's going to be my same pick too. I was also lost. I don't know what's happening in Green Bay, so I don't know if they're planning on keeping him or Rodgers know he's on the way out or he wants to be on the way out. I just don't know what's going on. I think they could have waited another year or two to get another quarterback if that's the direction they wanted to head towards, and definitely start building more pieces in Green Bay. I think their defense is kind of straight. But I mean, I think they should have took the first round pick and start building with that instead of trying to add a quarterback this year. So hopefully it doesn't go down the route of, the same way that Rodgers and Favre had their relationship the first couple of years. And hopefully he brings them in and, teaches them a little bit while still trying to play his best game. But we'll just have to see on this one. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, I kind of like the point you made there, Kyle. I agree with that, fully. But that being said, I promised Kyle, the birthday boy, some free smoke for Justin Herbert here. So I'm going to deliver on that promise. Justin Herbert, where do we start? Quarterback from Oregon, 4-year starter. He's from the Oregon area. I think he was from Eugene, so he was a hometown kid there. Herbert has all the physical tools. The man is damn near 6'7", 240 pounds, and he's an athlete. He can scoot out of that pocket. He's got a rocket arm. But the thing about Herbert is the man straight up disappears on the field for time periods. And the thing about it is he's playing in the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is not known for having the toughest defenses in college, dude.
Not at all.
And I don't know, bro. You even look at that Rose Bowl game against Wisconsin where they won. Herbert didn't win it with his arm. He didn't even look good throwing the ball. In the other big games he's played in his college career, he lost at Michigan State. I don't know if that was last year or the year before, but the thing about him is, I don't know, bro. I think it was a reach for the Chargers there. I think they could have probably traded down in the draft and still got him at 10 or 11 because you look at the picks that were there after, I don't think, you had the Panthers. You had the
nobody
Jets.
else was going for a
Nobody's
quarterback.
going to take a quarterback, bro. That's what I'm saying. So nobody's going to take a quarterback. And I just think Herbert could have been gotten later. And that wraps up, kind of the players that I wanted to talk about. You guys got any more?
No, I'm just going to say that the Chargers we're probably going to go with either. Let's say that Tua was to drop for some reason. You know,
They would have grabbed him, no question.
So I mean, it was either way. I think that's what they were going with. Either way, I think that was the game plan going into the draft. If Tua's there, grab him. If Justin Herbert's there, grab him. I think they're just gonna have to just work with it. I don't think he's gonna be a bad quarterback. I think he's gonna have to slowly get into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I believe.
Tua all day, man. Tua all day.
Nah, we don't care.
I think one last point that is worth mentioning is like you look at not the San Diego Chargers, but now the Los Angeles Chargers. And the thing about it is like they're now moving into a situation where they're going to be sharing a stadium with the Los Angeles Rams. And obviously, like when it comes to like fan affair, like the Rams have much more of a backing in LA than the Chargers do. Just just because there's more talent on the Rams roster. You got Goff, like you got Cooper Kupp, you got Aaron Donald, like you got real dudes. And it's like, yeah, there's solid players on the Chargers, but they're lesser known. But I think one of the reasons why they drafted a quarterback here is because the Chargers need to give like prospective fans or even fans that have been fans for a while, like hope moving towards the future. And I think drafting a quarterback, that was smart. I just don't like where he was drafted there.
That's the face of the franchise right there. Got to make it happen now. And what do you think about the jerseys? I like them.
I don't know, bro. I mean, have you guys seen? There's been a lot of teams that have like rebranded different jerseys. I think the Falcons threw something new out. I think the Bucks threw something new out. The Chargers, a few different teams, bro.
I think when you get these new exciting players, you got to do something different, you know.
Man,
so I think you get that quarterback in with that navy blue jersey.
That's black jerseys though on the Chargers, the black and yellow. Oh my god, those are beautiful jerseys.
Those navy ones. The navy ones.
You know what I'm waiting for, bro? I'm waiting for once the Raiders hit the ground running in Vegas, I want that alternate all black on black on black jersey, bro. I think that would be cold as hell.
Those would be crazy.
Yeah, those would go tough for sure.
Need them to start playing good though.
But, I know, man. Yeah, that's one of many things we need them to start doing. But shit, I think that kind of wraps up what we wanted to talk about here in the draft. I mean, to just kind of put a bow on this whole thing, like you look at this 2020 draft, like there's some real players here that could make a mark in the league in the next, 10 to 15 years, really. I mean, there's generational talents. Joe Burrow, I mean, obviously I think you could objectively say he had the best college football season ever. Like you talk about 60 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. It doesn't get much better than that. Chase Young, generational talent. Going to do work. Akuda, Isaiah Simmons, CeeDee Lamb to the Cowboys at 17? Ruggs, you got Judy, like Derek. I don't know. I could just keep listing players, and that wouldn't be worth our time. But I have high hopes for this draft, and I'll be curious to see three years from now where we stand.
Definitely.
With that being said, we got a 2-part episode here, so it's quite a pivot, and bear with us, audience. But there is a tiny possibility, a very tiny possibility that the NBA season could resume. Don't cross your fingers or, cross your ankles. But they've been talking about some things, playing in Las Vegas arenas with no fans. I've even heard the crazy idea of going to the Bahamas with no fans. And obviously that separates players from families. And there's a whole lot of hoops to jump through. But we're just going to do this thing based off the NBA. We're to resume again normally. So we're going to talk about the Eastern is not a word, Eastern Conference playoffs, and we're going to talk about the Western Conference playoffs. So I think we'll dive right in here with the Eastern Conference. If playoffs were to start today, what the seedings would look like. So in the first round, we have a 1 seed versus 8 seed matchup. We got the Bucks versus the Orlando Magic. I'm going to throw some shit in here. You guys, come in hot if you got a different perspective. But I see the Bucks either sweeping the series or taking it 4-1. The Bucks are a machine. Orlando doesn't have the players to match up. It's really that simple.
It's sweep. It's a sweep. 100%.
It's a sweep.
It's a sweep. All right. We got the Bucks moving through. A real shocker for the audience. I don't think they expected that one. All right, Kyle. I want to see if you have some crazy shit to say here. Do you have some crazy shit to say? Second seed Raptors for the 7 seed Nets, bro. Raptors take it 4-1. The Nets will be lucky to win. The Nets are dysfunctional, man. Dysfunction junction. And the Raptors are consistent and they don't lay dud games. They show up to play night in, night out. It should be an easy 4-game to 5-game wrap up.
Yeah, for sure. I don't see the Nets even winning one game here. Maybe one at home.
Kyle, say something crazy for the audience, please.
Something crazy?
Say it.
I'm gonna tell you straight up. We might win.
Okay, no. We're here now, so we're gonna dive into this topic. Explain to me a scenario.
On the real though, I'm not even gonna lie. Let's say NBA comes back and we got Kyrie and KD winning. Let's say NBA comes back, we just got Kyrie. Toronto is gonna win, but in 7.
You think if it's just Kyrie on the Nets are going to take the Norman Powell, the Siakam, the Kyle Lowry, the Marcus Gasol to 7 games? Is that what you're telling me?
That's what I'm telling you.
Okay. All right. I respect, man. You got to ride or die with your team. I guess we'll just leave it at that.
But nonetheless, right now, we'll give it 4-2. I'll give you 4-2. Even
if it's 4-0, 4-1, 4-2, or a 7-game series, the Nets are winning. So I think we got the Raptors moving on conclusively there. So now things get a little interesting when you get to the 3 versus 6 seed, the 4 versus 5 seed. At 3-6, you got the Celtics at the 3 versus 76ers at the 6. I think this series will go 7 games, and I think the Celtics will win in 7. The 76ers are also a dysfunctional team. The pairing of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid seems to not have worked out. I don't know if they're butting heads or stylistically there's just differences, but it isn't working. And in addition, the 76ers have been one of the worst teams on the road this year. But that being said, they are still talented. That's why I see it going 7 games. But the Celtics just play as a team better than the 76ers do, and I think that'll show itself.
I'll just say this. Ben Simmons said he can shoot threes now for the playoffs. It might get dangerous.
Oh, wait.
From Steph range? Or
wait. Quick question. Are you buying into that?
No.
Okay, thank you. I think we got the answer we needed.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be the most interesting matchup for this first round.
Totally, I do as well.
Celtics, but I'll go with the Celtics too, man. I like the way Jason Tatum is leading this team right now. And hey, I want to see Kemba have some playoff success.
Yeah, he deserves it.
I love Kemba, man. I just want to see him have some success. At least once, man. Just give the guy a break, right? Like the Hornets were bad enough with him, so yeah.
They struggled for too long.
I'm gonna say Boston. I think you said it great, Max. I think Boston's just playing the best as a team between these two teams. I don't think Philly's gonna play together as much, so I think it'll go 6 or 7 Boston.
Sweet. Yeah, no, I think I agree there.
Just before we go to the next round.
Wait. I'm confused. Tiago, do you have an invested interest in this next pick here? You're not a Heat fan, are you? I would have never known.
No. I'm not. Yeah, I want to say something about the Celtics and the 76ers before we move that. I think, what do you guys think the probability is for Marcus Smart to get into a fight with Joel Embiid?
100%.
I'd love to see it.
It's going to happen.
I think it's going to happen like at least 3 times during this season.
It might happen game 1.
Yeah.
These are the takes that the Between the Line podcast needs. I like it, boys.
Yes.
And the funny thing is, if I'm a betting man, which you guys know that I am, I'm putting my money on Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart's going to fucking crack somebody, bro. I believe that.
I'm going to have to take Joel on this one.
Nah, Joel's going to cry.
He got the reach.
Marcus is going to make him cry, man, for sure.
Dude, Marcus has a history of being a tough guy. I don't know. I'm going to roll with Marcus. I fuck with Marcus, man. I think he's solid.
All right.
But that being said, we go to the 4th and the 5 seed. So at 4, you have the Miami Heat going against the Pacers. The Pacers have been an interesting team. Oladipo was hurt at the beginning of the year. Malcolm Brogdon kind of came on really strong in the beginning. And Sabonis, bro, I didn't see that. I thought he'd be a solid role player in his career as NBA, but he's become a force, bro. He's stepping out. He's got the baby hooks. He's doing shit in the post. I don't know. That being said, Miami Heat's just a better team. Miami's been really bad on the road this year, but I'd expect that they'll be able to take care of this one and at least steal 1 game in Indiana and probably win the series 4-2 and 6.
Listen, I'm not even a Miami Heat fan, but I'm just gonna say I think this is gonna be dealt with in 7, not even 7 games, 6 games for the Heat. I like the Pacers. I think the Pacers are doing a nice season, but there's no chance. I like the bench deepness we got with the bench depth that we got on the Heat. Adding Iguodala to the playoffs is I mean, he's not being like a great contributor on the regular season, but we all know Iguodala on the playoffs is just a whole different person. I think we might make an interesting run right here. So I definitely go with the Heat.
I say don't sleep on Indiana. They are nice. I'm gonna give you the W though. I'm gonna give y'all the W. But I'm just saying that Indiana's gonna give y'all a run for their money. I haven't seen them play, but I mean, in order for them to be 5, they gotta be winning games, right? I mean,
yeah,
so we gotta see what's up. I think there's gonna be another interesting one. I think this one and the Boston and Philly one are gonna be probably 6 games. 7 games.
I agree, man. I think with that being said, instead of going to the Western Conference, let's just run it all the way through the East until we get our finals team in the East, and then we'll head to the West.
All right, let's do that.
So that being said, you got the Bucks versus Heat. This is an interesting series. These teams have played each other pretty interestingly in the regular season. I see it going 6 games. I see the Heat having problems matching up with specifically Giannis in the paint. Even though I watched a game earlier in the season where the Bucks went down to Miami, and the Heat absolutely dominated them, bro. But this was a game where Robinson and Crowder were just hitting 3 after 3. But yeah, I see it going 6 games, most likely, possibly 7. But I think the Bucks, Giannis, Middleton, Lopez, and Bledsoe, I think it's just too much there. So that's my opinion.
I mean, obviously, I'll be biased here. I want the Heat to win the Bucks, obviously, but I think it's going to be a tough matchup for sure. I think it's going to go to 7 games. I'm not going to lie, but if you ask me if I believe we can win, for sure, I think we can. I think we can lock the Bucks. I think we can force them to lose this playoff round. I think we can lock on Giannis a couple of games. We saw that happening on the regular season, but the regular season is the regular season. But once again, I'll come up with my argument. We have a really nice bench. We got Dragic coming off the bench, and I love that. We got shooters on our team. We got Iguodala there. I don't know, man. I just don't know. I can see things going both ways. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if we lost to the Bucks. I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be like, all right, the Bucks are the best team in the East, so be it. But I can also see Miami doing like some surprise here in the 7-game stretch.
I'm gonna take Milwaukee just like that. Just Miami's not gonna win. This is not gonna happen. Maybe 6 games, but Milwaukee. I don't think they're going to 7. I think it's gonna be 6 for sure. I just don't think they're gonna have that answer for Giannis. So Milwaukee.
Yeah, I hear it, man. I don't know. Milwaukee is just what they are, bro. I don't really see much of a situation where anybody takes them out, but yeah, I think that really just is how it has to go. But that being said, we move on to our next one here. So we got the Raptors against the Celtics, man. This could also be another interesting one. I think this one has to go 7, right? It has to go 7. Mm-hmm. How is there any other scenario where it doesn't go 7? You got the Kyle Lowry-led Raptors, Norm Powell, you got Serge, you got Siakam, and you got Kyle Lowry. And it's just like JT, Mark Smart. You can even toss Hayward in there too. Like, obviously you got Kemba, but I don't know, bro. I'd be curious what you guys think. I think I'd have to go with the Raptors if I have to make a decision.
I'll go with the Celtics. And I don't even know if it's gonna make like you said, I don't know if it's gonna be 7 games. Honestly, I don't think the Raptors will have the gas to keep up with the Celtics. It's just, I mean, the Raptors are a great team, but without Kawhi on the playoffs, they're not the same, especially on defense. And the Celtics just have so many options to score on them, so many options. And I don't know, man. It's 6 or 7 games, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go the Celtics' way.
I'm going to go Raptors on this one. I think that they have what it takes. I think Siakam is going to take them past Boston. I don't think Boston can keep up with them. I will say, though, not having Kawhi or that extra player they need is not going to get them past the next round.
Mm-hmm.
They will for sure get past this round. And it's just like this. The Raptors have a good team every year. They get the top record in the conference, or one of the top records in the conference every year. But until they had Kawhi, they did the same thing every year, and that was in fact due to Bron being in the East. But they're gonna get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're probably gonna lose. They just don't have what it takes to get past anybody anymore. So unless they find that other star, that's what's gonna happen. So I'll take Toronto here. Not next round, no.
Okay, I think 2-3, we got Toronto moving on. Can we talk about Siakam for a quick moment, though? Dude, that man has taken off, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, he's developed pretty nicely, like, throughout his years in the league, like, with his ability to, kind of take it to the basket. He's obviously a defensive stopper, but, like, he's pulling up now, like, backing dudes down in the post. Bro, like, he's taking his game to a whole nother level.
He's extending his game out now. Like, and if you include that jump shot, now it's easier to get to the basket.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So
I'll just say I don't think it's enough to carry the team like Kawhi did, man. I mean, I like Siakam, but it's just not enough. And the Celtics are just too stacked, man. It's not that easy. You guys keep forgetting that.
I hear what you're saying, but I also still don't like Siakam's incredible, but I still think Kyle Lowry's the man in Toronto. Like Kyle Lowry's just nails, bro. Just like clutch. He does he just rises to the occasion,
Don't get me wrong though, he frustrates me sometimes.
Yeah.
Like if I was a Raptors fan, he would be so frustrating. But I mean, he is a baller though. He just makes a lot of mistakes sometimes. So.
I think we could he's gotten a few All-Star nods, but I think we could all agree across the board, Kyle Lowry doesn't totally get the recognition he deserves. Maybe a part of that is because he plays in Toronto, or just because he's not flashy. He's not like the Kyrie Irving, Stephen Curry type.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, right. Where it's just it's more fundamentals with him. So I think that's a big reason why.
I have to disagree, man. I think he's not like the player he's on the regular season. Like Lowry chokes a lot. We saw that last year too, man. If it wasn't for Kawhi in some games, Lowry was just off. And when I'm talking about the playoffs consistency, I think Kemba will be way better at the one than Lowry is with the Raptors. I mean, Kemba is just a baller. Kemba is just cold, man. He rises up to the occasion every time you need him. You need Kemba to be on the clutch. Kemba will be the clutch. You need Kemba to make a play. Kemba will make a play. Kemba will facilitate the game for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And it seems like I'm riding Kemba here all the way, but I truly believe he's one of the most underrated point guards in the league, if not the most underrated point guard in the league right now. And,
I
don't know about the most underrated.
I think he is, man. I think he is. Because he's just overshadowed right now with that many talent in Boston. People talk about JT, people talk about Jaylen Brown, and I understand they're just young players with a lot of talent, but Kemba's still there, and he's balling. He's making it happen. And, I mean, it's the playoffs, man. I've seen Lowry choke way too many times, even last year. I don't see him, doing any different this year. So, I mean, it's just a tough matchup. So
I've got 2 points there. First point is Kemba Walker's a great player, but something to keep in mind is that he doesn't have playoff experience. And that's not me saying that he's going to go in there and choke, but I think that real playoff experience is truly very valuable to a lot of different teams and players. So that's just a point. Second point is don't discount how good of a coach Nick Nurse is in Toronto. That man, he gets things done. He draws up plays. He schemes very well. He's always prepared. He's one step ahead of everything. And I think that you look at the talent they have on the roster this year. Yeah, they got some good players, but I mean, wouldn't you guys agree that they're playing above their roster potential just in terms of record?
Of Toronto?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at their roster. It's not this superstar kind of roster, and you have the second best record in the East. So
no, easily. And I just back to that point. I think there's something to be said there for what Nick Nurse is doing and how he's kind of riding the ship.
But then I'm gonna have to say I agree with Tiago on the whole Kemba Walker thing. I think it's gonna be a good matchup. I don't know if Kemba is gonna come out here and just absolutely destroy him you're saying, but I think it's gonna be a great matchup. So we got to see, and this is gonna be Kemba's first time on a playoff team that's not
Trash.
playing against the first team, the best team in the league. So
Yeah,
exactly.
Curious.
So we're going to see how he plays from a different way. So
the one scenario in which I see the Celtics possibly taking this, if Jason Tatum just goes out of his fucking mind.
Maybe.
I can see it happen.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's going to be a really interesting matchup if that happens.
If he could potentially, like, pour in, like, 30 to 32 in a game, like, 30 to 32, like, on average per that series, I think they could possibly win. And, like, you look at what JT's done this year, bro, like, he's balling, man. Like, I know that he, like, obviously rip Kobe, but like before Kobe passed on, like he was in the lab doing work, and it's just like you see JT's like face up game and his ability to like post up and fade from both sides. Like I just think like 2 years from now, like he could be fucking insane.
You can see the Paul Pierce in that, right?
Yeah, totally.
Pierce, yeah, I love that.
All right, so we got Eastern Conference Finals now, man. So we got the Bucks versus Raptors. Shit, I think the Bucks take it 4-2, man. I think they could even take it 4-1, really.
Yeah.
And that's funny because it's like the Eastern Conference. You think finals, I should say. You think it would be like kind of a closer matchup, but the Bucks are just like the Goliath this year, man. They're just doing everything right. You guys have any thoughts?
You see, this is where it gets funny. So when we came to the Bucks Heat matchup, we thought about the trouble that the Bucks might have trying to eliminate the Heat. I even said I believe the Heat could beat them because I think the Heat are the weak spot of the Bucks. But when it comes to the Raptors or the Celtics facing them in the finals, I think the Bucks would just take the games, the series in 5.
Wait,
I'm not saying the Heat are better than the Celtics or the Raptors. I'm just saying when it comes to matchup wise, the Heat are the ones who can match up with the Bucks.
Before you go, Kyle, I could not agree more with you, Tiago. The team that could really beat the Bucks is the Miami Heat. There's no doubt about it. Matchup wise and just like pound for pound, the Heat like would give them the best matchup problems.
I agree, but if we're looking out of these bottom 4 teams, like the 3, 6, 2, and 7, Boston, Philly, Toronto, Brooklyn. I mean, there's nobody that's really going to compete with them right now, at least. Like I said, when KD comes back, different story. But 100%. I mean, obviously he's not. I don't think there's anybody that's really going to match up with them. So I'll agree with y'all on that. But for the sake of this, obviously Milwaukee will go through. So
we got Milwaukee advancing to the finals out of the East. Then is that confirmed?
Mm-hmm.
All right, on to the Western Conference playoff series. 1 seed versus 8 seed. Lakers, Grizzlies.
Love that.
Grizzlies have been pretty fun this year, man. Like a lot of young talent. Like there wasn't much expectations. Like if you think about it, Andre Iguodala got dumped there by the Warriors, and he was just like, "Man, fuck this! Like I'm not gonna play with this trash team. Like with a bunch of just nobody young players." And they're just scrappy, bro. Like they find a way to get it done. They're teetering like near and around 500, but obviously, they're not playing with the Lakers. LeBron, AD, and company are just gonna go in there and give them that work. So I think it'll be a sweep, or the Grizzlies will be very lucky to win 1 game.
I agree with you, but I really want to see Ja winning that first playoff game of his career. And I just love the kid. Ja is he reminds me of Derrick Rose when he was on his
I see that.
He was explosive. That's so wild, man. I really want to see Ja making like a win on the Lakers. And you know what Bron does after those games? Like Bron knows the series are done, but Bron is still gonna go up to him and gonna talk to Ja, giving him that praise about winning 1 playoff game and just giving him some advice. I really want to see that happening, man. I really want to give that to the kid. I think he deserves it for this season, taking the Grizzlies all the way to the playoffs, making this huge impact on the team on his first year. Definitely Rookie of the Year. I'm just going to say that. But I really want to see that happening. Just 1 win for the Grizzlies. That's all I need. I'll be happy with it.
I don't know what the race was looking like for the 8 seed in the East, or I mean in the West, but I'm pretty sure it was close.
It was very close.
Yeah, so I think should the league, or if the league had came back, I think we would have. I don't know who we would have saw there. I think it would have been an interesting race, but for this, I'd have to say LA all the way. But John Morant is not going to back down. He's a dog, so he's going to fight every game. So the Lakers are not going to take a single game easy, but they're going to win every game. I think it's just
100%, bro. And like you talk about teams that were close, the Kings made a really fast surge here, like in the last few weeks before the season got suspended due to COVID-19. So they were another team that was in play. But I like what you said, just like about the Grizzlies. Like I feel like they're gonna go into that playoff series. Like they're playing with house money, you know. They're not supposed to be where they are, so it's just like, you know, they're just flying off the handle. So I think they're going to go out there, whether they get swept in 4 or they win a game, they're going to go out there and have a good time because the pieces are there to develop in the future. And I think that's all Memphis is really concerned about. But that takes us to the 2nd seed versus 7th seed. So you got the Clippers versus Mavs. I think this one on the surface is actually more interesting than you would think. When I originally jotted down notes for this one, I thought that the Clippers would take it 4-1. But I could actually see a scenario where the Mavs, on dominance from Luka and Kristaps, find a way to win 2 games. But in summary, the Clippers are just too talented to let this one slip. So at most, I see it going 6 games with a 4-2 win or 4-1 win from the Clippers.
I agree with you. I think Paul George, he's a crazy man in the playoffs. Although last year it was kind of a meme. But I mean, the teams the Clippers have like such a stacked roster right there. But I can still see the Mavs winning 2 games, even 3. I don't know, man. I think Luka and Porzingis are a great duo. They really function well together. Great potential in the future European players, but I cannot see the Clippers letting this one escape. I know they are cursed. I know the Clippers have this long-time curse that will haunt them forever, but I don't know, man. I just cannot see Paul George and Kawhi paired up losing. And with the bench they have, like Lou Williams coming off the bench, Patrick Beverley being a dog on defense, it's just too hard.
Don't forget about Montrez.
Yeah, I know Montrez, but I'm just saying, like, that defense team is just wow. If somebody has to stop Luka, you gotta beat them.
I got Clippers 4-2.
Yep, no, I see that. I mean, I think, I don't see the Mavs possibly winning 3 games, but 4-1, 4-2 seems realistic. This is another interesting series. 3 seed versus 6 seed. Nuggets at 3, Rockets at 6. I have the Nuggets in 7. I see Harden, Westbrook finding a way to take this to 7. I think those 2 players will give the Nuggets some problems, but the Rockets just, in the end, won't have enough depth or size to possibly actually win this series.
Honestly, I don't think the Rockets will even take it to Game 7. I think I'll give the Rockets 1, 2. That's it. I don't think they're going to win more games than the Nuggets. The Nuggets have a really nice roster. And the fact that Houston is playing this small ball on them, I don't think it's just going to work. Also, I think Michael Porter Jr. is going to be a surprise in these playoffs. We saw some flashes of him during the regular season. Then he got a small injury again, so they had to slow him down. But I think he's going to be ready to go full on these playoffs. That's their plan. The Nuggets plan all the way. Just spare the kid for the playoff run. I think it's going to be a huge surprise this year if the season comes back, of course. But I think I'll give the Nuggets win this thing in 5 to 6 games.
All right. This one I think is going to be a close one. I think, like, I want to say Houston deep down inside of me. Like, I feel like they can pull this one out. But actually, no. I'm going to go hot take. I think I'm going to go Houston in 7.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's like aggressive or like too blatant. I mean, I had it going 7 too, so
yeah. I think they take that one. I just have this feeling, you know. So
yeah,
that's just the one we'll go with. I feel like Harden's gonna pull this one out, and you got Westbrook with you too. You know, I think playoff time he's gonna become a different animal.
Yeah, totally. But based off simple mathematics at a 2-3 rate, we're gonna have to go Nuggets there. 4 seed versus 5th seed, Jazz at 4 versus Thunder. This was actually my only upset in the first round in the East or Western Conference. I have the Thunder in 7. Many people haven't paid attention to the Thunder this year. Obviously Paul George is gone. He got traded, to the Clippers. And the crazy thing is, you look at the draft capital that the Thunder have moving on in the next few years. I think they got like 5 or 6 picks, bro. And
Oh yeah,
just
something
as a
crazy.
so crazy, like that's a real team that like 2-3 years from now, like that could be a roster that could compete for a championship. Obviously, you got to draft correctly, but when it comes to this playoff series, I had the Thunder in 7. Like I said, the Thunder have quietly had a great season. Chris Paul has been doing his thing. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a total baller, bro. And then you got Gallinari and Steven Adams, and also, God, you got the guy that was in Atlanta coming off the bench. Why am I blanking on his name? Right, Dennis Schroeder, bro. Dennis is doing his thing. So I don't really love the Jazz too much. They've been pretty inconsistent the whole year, and then you kind of hear this is all on the argument the NBA season will actually resume. But I've been hearing that there's been kind of a riff with Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell with the whole Corona thing. How Gobert got sick and he was out there in the locker room touching all the mics and touching people and shit. So it's if you mess with somebody's health, people aren't gonna like that. And I don't know, maybe there's problems there that can't adequately be addressed. So I'm gonna go with the Thunder.
I would pick the Jazz here if it wasn't for the Gobert situation. I think they just before this whole thing happened, before Donovan Mitchell saying his relation with Gobert is going downhill, I think the Jazz just worked really nicely as a team. We've been watching the Jazz since last year, making these crazy playoff games. Donovan Mitchell is a great team leader, and the team just works well together. It's just like you mentioned when you said Toronto doesn't have all these crazy flashy players, but they work as a team. I saw the Jazz the same way. But with this whole situation and chemistry problems in the locker room, I will also see the Thunder taking this way. And I think Chris Paul is going to cash in on the opportunity of these Jazz being weakened as a team. And Dennis Schroeder is just being a baller out there as a 6-man. He's going off on the regular season. And I also like their talent. The Shai is just a great player too. I can see him developing to be a great player for the future of this team. So yeah, definitely the Thunder, but maybe in 7 games. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I'm gonna go Thunder too. I thought Thunder before the whole situation with the Jazz even happened. And then if you look at what Chris Paul is doing for his team, I think he's probably doing just as much as other star players are doing. I think he's doing this to prove that, he's still Chris Paul and he can still, do what he wants to do. He can still play the game that he wants to play and the game he knows how to play. So he's out there proving a point. And then, like you said, you have his supporting cast that are still balling. And then Dennis Schroeder as a 6-man candidate, I think is a good take too. You have Harrell, but because they're resting so much, between Harrell and Lou Will, let's say that they were to be moved out of the 6-man competition, I think the next one up is Dennis Schroeder. He's just proven, he's just producing off the bench. So they got a solid team right there. I think OKC takes that in 7 games.
Yeah, I think another point worth mentioning about Paul is he was on that crazy Clippers team there for a few years that had, Matt Barnes, JJ Redick, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford. And it's you would have thought that team would have found a way to get the finals. It didn't happen. Didn't work for Chris there. He got traded to Houston. Didn't work from there. Now he got dumped off to OKC, kind of like a castaway, on a lonely island, right? And I feel like Chris is kind of taking the mindset. It's fuck you all. Nobody believes in what I can do. But now I'm here with these players that nobody expected anybody to, even possibly make the playoffs with. And now it's Chris is putting them all on his back. So I think it's been one of the cooler stories and narratives that's gone on this NBA season.
Yeah, he got thrown away, and he's basically proven why he's still going to be in the talks. At the end of his career for Hall of Fame and all that. He's a great player. You can't just throw away somebody like that.
You talk about getting thrown away. The same thing goes with Dennis Schroeder, man. The Hawks just stopped believing in him, and now here he is balling out. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I think this OKC is the real underdog story for too many people. You know, like Shai was also traded from the Clippers, and he was also like a future prospect. They stopped, like, I'm not saying they stopped believing in him, but they rather went to Paul George and winning now than just waiting for Shai to develop. And guess what? Shai has a breakout year right after. Chris Paul situation, having this great year, proving everyone wrong, saying you can still carry a team. And then you got Dennis Schroeder, man, shutting up all those Atlanta fans that stopped believing in him. Just forgot about him in a second as soon as Trae Young came in. I mean, I love it. I love this underdog story. Just so many players doing it.
I agree for sure. All right, so that takes us to the second round. So here we got Lakers 1 seed against the 5th seed Thunder. You know, I think the Cinderella story for the Thunder kind of ends here. It was a cool story, but at the end of the day, better talent beats worse talent. So I think that the Lakers probably sweep or the Thunder win one game, and I don't really need to provide any analysis. It's pretty much that simple.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I'm actually curious about what Kyle Kuzma is going to do this in these playoffs. I'm not saying he's going to be a key part of the team because I don't really believe he will. Kyle Kuzma just getting off, but I'm saying, like, if Kuzma kind of steps up in these playoffs, it's going to be like clean sweeps for the Lakers for the first two rounds of the playoffs. So yeah, no doubt the Lakers are taking this.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's anything that needs to be said. Just going to be the Lakers. The Thunder will win a couple games, maybe.
Don't sleep on playoff Rondo. Okay, he's balling out again. He's crazy. He's a crazy man in the playoffs.
You know who's gonna go off though? Alex Caruso, the GOAT. We know it.
Alex Caruso.
That's the best player on that team.
All right, so I think we're unified there. We're on the Lakers train for sure.
Yeah.
So now you have the 2nd seed Clippers going against the 3 seed Nuggets. I don't know, man. This one could be pretty interesting. It has definitely the potential to go 6 or 7 games. But I think, like, in my heart of hearts, I think that if the Clippers are playing with their full potential in that starting lineup, and then you have Harrell and Williams coming off the bench, I'd be pretty surprised if the Nuggets find a way to win more than 2 games.
I'll take the games in 7. I think the Nuggets will. I think the Clippers are going to take this in 7 games. Just for the simple fact that I don't think Jokic has the stamina to keep going like that, man. Like, he showed us, like, in deep runs and when he has like too many games in a row, he just gets tired. You know, he's not the most physical or athletic person on that roster, although he's the star player. But even though, like, the Clippers just have too many talent, they can defend those guys, they can guard them. I don't know, man. I think they can still take it to 7 games because of the deep bench the Nuggets have, and I think this is going to be decided. This game is going to be decided not on the starting 5 lineup, but on whether their benches play. Because if it was just on the 5 starting lineup, the Clippers would win this in 5 games. But since both teams have nice benches, I think this might take a few more time to be decided. So I'd say 7 games, but the Clippers take it for sure.
I think they got that robot Kawhi on their team, so it's not going anything past 6 games if it goes 6 games. So I think the Clippers got it. I mean, Kawhi is just gonna keep stepping up. He doesn't ever, like, I'm assuming he has bad games. You know, I think all hoopers do. You know, it's part of the game, but it's just not gonna happen. He's a professional. He knows what he's doing. So
yeah. I don't know. I think we might need to, like, run a DNA test, bro. I don't know if he actually has human blood or cells inside of his body. So
I don't think he does, but does it matter? I mean, he was just built to get buckets. That's it.
I don't know. I think we might find a scenario if somebody hits him with a flagrant foul across the face hard enough, where it'll be kind of like that Terminator thing, where you see like metal in his cheeks and stuff. Exactly.
Like that forever. Do you guys remember when the Heat were playing them and LeBron got like really upset because Kawhi was coming back into the game? Like Kawhi was like what, in his second year in the league, third year?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Oh my god! Like Bron was so scared.
Oh,
Like,
back when he was on the Heat, right? They keep showing that on
yeah,
Twitter every
yeah,
time.
exactly. Like LeBron is shooting a free throw, and they called like Kawhi's coming in, and as soon as Bron sees Kawhi coming in, he just goes like, "Damn." Like, that's
I mean,
crazy.
you got this guy following you around. He's playing great defense. You know, you're gonna
With
be
those
annoyed.
great claws, man. That's
Yeah.
just scary shit. No, that's scary, man. I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
One last touching point on this series. Like, obviously, we've decided the Clippers for sure, but I liked Tiago's point. Michael Porter Jr., that is a player to watch out for in the next few years. I don't know if it's necessarily coming in the playoffs if the season were to possibly resume, but he's finally healthy. He had like a minor injury earlier this year, but dude, like, there's a reason why he was the number one high school recruit coming out of, I think he's from the state of Washington, man. And it's just like, if I'm Western Conference teams, I'm gonna be scared of that guy moving forward. So I just want to touch on that. But
Bol is still
yeah,
on that roster.
is he in the G League? I know he's playing in the G League for quite a bit this year.
Yeah, he's still developing there, but I think Bol can be like a nice player for the team. I'm not saying he's going to be a star player, but I mean he's a future player for the night.
Rotational for sure.
Yeah. Never know.
All right, so I think you guys know where we are now. We're in the Battle of Los Angeles, and I think all
That
the
would
experts.
be crazy.
I think all the experts that people that really know what they're talking about, if they had to make a decision about the Western Conference Finals going into this year, I think it would have likely been Lakers versus Clippers, and that's where we are.
Mhm.
So
100%.
man, I'm like twisting and turning over here. I have so many thoughts and still don't have like a fully formulated idea about how this will go. But I'm just gonna go off a hunch and say this. LeBron James is on a mission, man. Kobe Bryant's passing was such a big impact on that Lakers community in LA, bro. Like, I really think he's taken that mindset of like, we got to win this thing now for Kobe. Like, this, like, we got to, on the year that he passed, we got to go get that thing. And in addition, I think just Anthony Davis will turn into just another monster. And I think when it comes to the overall size that the Lakers have, I mean, you got AD, you got Braun, you got Kuzma, you got Dwight Howard coming off the bench. Like, you got real size. And I don't know if other than Brook Lopez, and obviously Giannis is a big, big dude. I don't know if other than that, what am I talking about? I'm sorry. I'm talking about the Clippers here. I don't know if the Clippers have the size to match up with them. You know, they have Zubats and they have Harrell coming off the bench. But other than that, where's the size going to come from? You know, the Morris brother and Green, they don't have the size to play with them. So it's just like, I think the Lakers are going to win this series with their size and LeBron's willpower.
Listen, I have mad respect for Braun. I have mad respect for what happened with the Lakers, and I think he's on a mission too. But I think this is going to be decided in 7 games. And in my honest opinion, I think the Clippers will take it, man. They're just a defensive powerhouse. If somebody has to stop the Lakers, it's them. If the Lakers win this, there will be NBA champions for sure. There's no way the Bucks can stop them in the finals. And I'll say this right away. I know we're going to go to that point next, but I'm saying if somebody has to stop Braun on this mission and AD, that's going to be the Clippers. And I know what you're saying size wise, but I'll just throw it back to when Kawhi was defending Braun on the Heat. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody has to guard Braun or AD, you got Kawhi, you got Paul George, you got like Patrick Beverly, who showed like he can guard KD, man. He can be there. He can be on their heads, you know. And when you have a team like that, when you have a team that hustles so much on defense, it's tough to pass on them, and they'll all be on their best during these conference finals. I think it's going to be a great, one of the most exciting finals to see on the West Conference for years. But I see the Clippers taking this one in 7 games.
I like it. I think I feel like Max right here. I don't know what to do on this one, but something's just telling me like the Lakers are gonna go all the way. So I think it's got to be the Lakers on this one. But what I'm thinking is gonna happen is Kawhi and LeBron are gonna like find a way to like cancel each other out. Essentially, Bron is gonna produce what he does. Kawhi's gonna do what he does. They're gonna guard each other on defense. Whatever. I think your factor in this game is gonna be AD. I think whatever he does is gonna get the Lakers to the next level. So AD's gonna step up here, take them to the championship. They got it in 7.
Okay, the only question I have is who's gonna guard Anthony Davis for the Clippers?
That's what I don't know. I mean,
right? What are you gonna put Zubats on him? You think
then
Harold
you
at
have
like
Harold
6'8"?
there.
No, I mean, but he's got like 3 inches on him.
I
I
mean,
don't know. Why don't you put Paul George on LeBron and Kawhi on AD?
Dude, AD has about 5 inches. I mean, do I have to address that question?
What?
I don't know, man. You got nobody else.
Yeah,
You got
no,
nobody
that's,
else.
I mean, exactly, bro. And I understand what you're saying. And I feel like to address this problem, the Clippers are really going to have to take some creative approaches to like playing extreme small ball and kind of, exploiting, the length and the big size of the Lakers if they're going to, come out of this with, victorious. But that's just my one question. When I was really thinking about who's going to take this, I just kept coming back to who's going to stop Anthony Davis in the post and stop him from getting to where he wants on the floor. And I didn't come up with an answer to that, so that's why I'm going Lakers.
Well, you also got to look at the Clipper side too. I think they have the better guard play, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
totally.
would you not say that?
Easily. I mean,
off
Lakers
the bench
don't
too.
have much.
So, as far as getting the ball down, I mean, of course you're gonna have LeBron running point or whatever, but you still need your other guards to play, and I think the Clippers win that small ball side of things. So
yeah, totally.
They've got to find a way to even it out, and whoever side steps up more, I think that's who wins the game.
The only comment I'd make about the Lakers guard play is when it comes to scoring the ball offensively, it's pretty weak. But Avery Bradley and KCP can play solid defense. I'm not saying they're about to shut down, Paul George or Lou Williams off the bench, or even if they take spells on Leonard from time to time. But that is one of their better attributes, playing defense.
Yeah. Avery Bradley used to be a great key player for that Celtics team.
Yeah, bro.
Thomas, but
totally. That was a few years ago now. But yeah, dude, he was solid. He was nails, reliable for sure.
Yeah, he just fell off.
So we're in the finals now, guys. We got Bucks, Lakers, bro. These two teams played against each other twice in the regular season. I believe the Bucks beat the Lakers in Milwaukee. It wasn't too close. I think they won by at least 7 to 8 points, maybe even higher than that. And then I know the Lakers played the Bucks in LA, and the Lakers won by about 10.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this final series, I know I just talked that crazy shit about Bron being on a mission to get that, get that victorious ring for Kobe, and also AD getting his first ring there too. But I think it was a pretty big surprise that the Bucks didn't find a way to make to the finals last year. I think they definitely blew at least one game at home against the Raptors. But I just look at the body of the work that the Bucks have produced this year, and just there's no question about it that Giannis has to be the MVP. And they just play so well as a team. I think that the Bucks are gonna, if the season resumes, be your 2020 NBA champions.
Wow.
I say Lakers in 6. Wow. It is what it is, man. There's no chance LeBron's going to stop there. If he defeats Kawhi, it's just going all the way. There's no way. I don't even see the Bucks taking this to 7 games, honestly. There's just no way to stop these Lakers if they win to the Clippers. No way.
Kyle?
For sure, I'm going to say Lakers. In how many games? I don't know. I think it go either way. Like the regular season matches were so even, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee came out and then dominated late game, 1 game. Then LA comes back and Bron steps up and locks down Giannis. So, and I mean, honestly, if you play the right game the same way every time, and which I think LeBron can do, because I think he's a great student of the game. I think they can pull that out. I think they're going to do what they have to do to lock up Giannis, or I wouldn't say lock up, but kind of limit his scoring and what he can do offensively. And I think they'll take it.
Yeah, totally.
I'll bring this up again before you get forward, Max. I'm sorry.
Go
It's just that, I mentioned it before, and I'll mention it again. A lot of the Lakers' success for this playoff run depends on how the bench reacts, and I'm talking specifically once again about Kyle Kuzma. Man, Kyle Kuzma had a lot of expectations coming off the bench this year, saying that he could be like a actually nice six-man or a contender for six-man of the year. And Kyle Kuzma's just been on and off. Even with AD getting injured in the regular season, Kyle Kuzma showed us that he can be inconsistent as hell. Sometimes scoring like 5 points, sometimes scoring 20 points, sometimes getting 10 rebounds, sometimes getting 2. And I think a lot of the Lakers' success is going to depend on how Kyle Kuzma is going to face these playoffs. Because we all know Bron is going to bow out. We all know AD is going to bow out. Dwight Howard finds always a way to be productive on the rebounding side. But Kyle Kuzma, man, is a big what if. He's a baller. We all saw that. We saw Kyle Kuzma showing flashes of greatness before Bron came in last year with Bron and Lonzo too. But how about this year when the things are actually on the line, when you're playing on the playoffs? When you have to win, is Kyle Kuzma going to step up and be the Kyle Kuzma we know from past years? Or is he going to be the Kyle Kuzma that scores 5 points in a game, 2 rebounds, and is nowhere to be seen in the field? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, totally. I think that's a really interesting point about Kuzma. Just like piggyback off what you're saying, like he's just been so inconsistent this year. There's times where he really looks polished and looked like he's like about to take a step forward in the league, and then there's times where he just like disappears, or he'll just go like 0 for 8 from the field and really not put any stat lines down on the assist category or really rebounding. But when it comes to what I said about the Bucks, I don't see this being a series where the Bucks find a way to win in like 6 or even 5. Like this game is for factual facts going 7 games. And it's like, I don't think what you guys are saying is crazy at all. Like, I could totally see a scenario where the Lakers win. And another aspect is I think LeBron James's finals experience is something that shouldn't be discounted. The man's been there. Like, he knows the pressure, that amounts. Like, I mean, you think about J.R. Smith pulling that bonehead play in Oakland in game 1 of that series that they got absolutely hammered. But it's just like, I don't know. I think he's going to get his dogs ready. I think he's going to have them ready to fight. But I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. I'm going to roll with the Bucks. But last point I want to make, and I want you all to give me some feedback on this. If you're the Lakers, looking back on things now, would you rather have traded Kyle Kuzma to the Pelicans instead of Lonzo Ball?
Yes.
Yes. 100%, right?
And I think it worked out better for Lonzo anyway. So
yeah,
totally.
Can you imagine Lonzo being the point guard
on this Lakers team? That would be crazy, bro.
Would be crazy. Just feeding Bron and AD like that. That would be.
I mean, it would work out though. That's exactly his game right there.
Exactly, because like he never takes the mindset of score first, and like when you're playing on this Lakers team, like with that starting roster, he could take the ultimate position of just dish, and like provide for teammates.
But I'll say this though, Bron is that all around guy, but he wants to be the facilitator on the team, and you need to put other people around that can kind of score. So although you do need another point guard, and Rondo is good, and this and that. I think you need a scoring point guard. And then, they have their shooting guards now, Danny Green, KCP. But I think you need those solid scorers around them. Like, imagine adding another, like, high-volume scorer to this team. Not an all-star, but just somebody who's going to get buckets to this squad right here.
Like,
it's unstoppable.
Like Dennis Schroeder.
Well, the funny thing is that's what they'd hoped Kyle Kuzma was going to be,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like they banked on the fact that Kuzma was going to come in and pour in at least like 12 a game and grab like 5 or 6 rebounds.
And it turns out that's what Brandon Ingram is.
Exactly, man.
Kuzma is a guy that works based on confidence. When Kuzma came first to the Lakers and he had that really nice run in the summer league, that gave him the confidence to be like one of the main options on the team. As soon as that got taken away from him, as soon as Kuzma got put on the bench, his edge just collapsed. That's how Kuzma is a cocky player. When he made that statue saying Kuzmania, he was always on social media. He was always showing off. Like, this guy was an unknown player coming from Utah, and he's now the center of attention. He has all the confidence in the world to make like 30 points in the game, 20 points, and then as soon as he get put on a bench, he just collapses. He's just like, he's not the same player anymore. He's an irregular player. Sometimes he can give you like flashes of what he was in confidence, but other times it's just not there.
Yeah.
That they cannot carry a franchise, not even be sixth man of the year, man. There's no way.
Yeah. Let's just end this Kyle Kuzma conversation with this real quickly before we go into MVP, sixth man of the year, and rookie of the year award. I don't understand the whole Kyle Kuzma thing. You look at this dude, man, he's got millions of followers on Instagram. And I'm like, why do people give a shit about what this guy is doing or what he has to say? You look at his only successful times in the NBA is when he played on that Lakers team that had zilch amount of talent. Mm-hmm. He was afforded the opportunity to just go up and down the floor, do whatever the hell he wanted to, shoot from anywhere on the floor. And it's like whenever any structure like came into that franchise and like there was some actual solid talent around him, like he just like crippled, bro. Like he just, I don't know if like, I don't know. I don't know him. I, shouldn't be speculating, but I think we can all agree it's been pretty bad this year.
You want to ask yourself why he has so many followers? First of all, he's playing.
That's what I've been wondering. Can you explain it to me? Because I don't understand. He dyes his hair like fucking one time every month. I don't get it. What's up with that dude? He's a fly guy.
I can explain to you. When you play in a market like the Lakers and you're a show off guy, you're gonna have a ton of followers. You guys remember
unstoppable force.
Damn, man, like,
and
he's not
Donald Trump with an unprecedented campaign. I think he really
just shows off. And when you're playing on
the left in the United States and outfits, cultural liberalism was taking over, and it was sort of this unstoppable force. And
I can guarantee you, like half of those followers he has on Instagram don't give a shit about what he does, because that's what it is. He's a star. He's a star on social media. He's not a star on the court right now, but he's a star on social media, and he keep being a star on social media, exactly like Swaggy P was. And Swaggy P also found a way to contribute, but he was not like a generational talent. Goddamn it! Like people remember that shot. He turns over and starts celebrating. And
where he shot the 3-pointer, put his hands down, turned his back, and then it goes in and out.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. These are like social media stars. They're not like court or basketball stars. Not at all.
Well, he's a fly guy, and his name is Kyle, so that's what it is. On to the next topic.
All right. With that being said, we got 3 quick things to wrap up here with episode 2. I say we go in this order: Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man, and then MVP. For my Rookie of the Year, it has to be Ja Morant. That 100%. Dude out of Wichita State, bro. You can talk about Zion Williamson all you'd like and say how he's been so impressive rebounding. His field goal percentage isn't that bad. He's provided such a surge for the Pelicans. But I don't give a shit. Ja Morant was there from game 1, and he did that work. So I'm going to have to reward the young buck, and he gets the Rookie of the Year award.
My Rookie of the Year goes to Ja Morant, too. There's no way this one slips up. Zion is great. He's a beast, but he missed way too many games. And Ja Morant is just carrying his team. I don't know what was in Kendrick Nunn's head to even...
that was funny.
I don't know what the hell he was thinking. That was kind of embarrassing, to be honest. But... it's Ja, man. It's just Ja Morant, 100% locked in.
All right, I'm gonna agree with you too. First, I want to correct you, Max. It's Murray State. Thank you.
What did I say? Wichita? Fuck.
Yep. All right, I got you back. Nah, he's definitely a baller. He's brought his team to the playoffs as a rookie, and if you watch his highlights, I mean, gosh, it's just sick. You can't mess with him. So. Yeah, he's going to get his buckets when he wants, and that's what it is. Rookie of the Year.
All right, on to the next one.
All right. Takes us to Sixth Man. Lou Will has won this award the last 2 years in a row, and in total, he's won it 3 times. You look at Will's numbers this year, 18.5 a game, nearly 6 assists, but... I am going to have to go with his teammate. Obviously, Schroeder's in consideration here, but you look at the leader that Harrell has become for the Clippers, and it's crazy, man. Like,
they
you
all
see him out
originally
on the
opposed
court,
him,
like,
but there was
barking,
something
bro.
that
He's
was so
barking out defensive
strong,
assignments,
or at
like,
least
he's
some
getting on
kind of
people,
force there,
you know, from
that
missing
got
what they're
Donald
supposed
Trump
to be doing out on the court. And I think he really is like one of those alpha dogs on that team. I think you got Paul George, Pat Beverly, obviously Kawhi's the silent leader, but then I think there's Harrell. And you talk
they
about
all
his
originally
18 points a
opposed
game,
him, but there
7
was
boards a
something
game.
that was so strong,
He's never won it before,
or at
and
least
I
some
just really
kind
like
of
the player he
force
is.
there,
So I think
that
I'd
got
give it to
Donald
him.
Trump at least enough past the post to get all the way to the nomination,
Six-Man of the Year,
and then to actually get into to actually have people go out to the ballot box. But as far as you guys understand, we're sitting here now about 3 years into the first term. Do you think the same question is still there? Are we better off? So when you, and Antonio, you can start. In your eyes, do you think that at the end, looking at the beginning of 2016 and looking at the beginning of 2020, and mind you, the coronavirus, will set that
Goran Dragic has to be in the conversation
aside, do you think we're better
Goran
off?
has been great for
And is there any particular sense you're thinking of, like maybe economical?
Maybe culturally, politically, yeah. Do you think we're moving generally in a direction that you think is good?
How great of a veteran he is. He's willing to teach Kendrick Nunn and also coming off the bench, and he's been productive. Either ways, I would go with Dennis Schroeder for this one. I think Dennis has had a bigger impact than Dragic had on the Heat, but I would also take Dragic into consideration for sure for what he's done for the team this year.
All right, I think on this one I'm gonna take Harrell as well, but because the Clippers, are resting their players a lot with the whole load management thing. Let's say a situation comes into play where they're not considered for the 6-man anymore because they're playing a certain amount of minutes. Then I'm gonna go with Dennis Schroeder. I think he's the best off the bench, and he's performing right now in OKC off the bench behind CP and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's put up good numbers, and I think that's what the 6-man is right there. So he's going to be my 6-man. Schroeder, should Harrell not be able to accept that award. And then my third one, I feel like I need to mention, is Derrick Rose. Yeah, baller off the bench right there. And D Rose has always been a baller. It's unfortunate what happened to him, and throughout his career. But I mean, he's never lost that drive to keep hooping. So I think,
yeah, totally, bro. I think
honorable mention.
He's played pretty well in Detroit this year. He had a few games that were actually pretty crazy, and it's funny, like, time to time you still see like the vintage D Rose where he gets in the lane and just goes crazy reverse. He'll do like a pretty wet spin move and do something nice.
Yeah.
So I the biggest thing with him is I like that he's just still in the NBA and competing. Like, I feel like with all the injuries and like kind of being on bad teams for so long, he could have easily just like grabbed his ball and walked home and just like quit the league with all the money he's made. But he's still out here grinding.
Yeah.
So that takes us to like our last, point of attention here for episode 2, our MVP predictions. I'll start off. It's just, there's no question. It's an easy decision. Antetokounmpo is the MVP. The man's only playing 31 minutes a game. You look at the other like possibilities for MVP this year, most of those players are playing at least 3 to 4 more minutes a game than Giannis, and their stats are not at the same level. He is scoring nearly 30 points a game, nearly 14 rebounds a game, and averaging nearly 6 assists a game. His player efficiency rating is 3 points higher than anyone else in the league. The Bucks are winning at a torrid pace. It just checks every single box that you need to be an MVP. So I think the argument's right there.
My MVP is my former king, LeBron James. I miss him here in the Heat, but this year, man, LeBron's just been that player. Like, LeBron, just every year he shows us that he's still the guy. Although he hasn't won an MVP award in a while, he's still the man of the league, man. There's no way you can take that away from him. And this year, him being the primary ball handler for the Lakers, leading this team. AD was injured. We cannot forget about that. AD was injured during some extent, and LeBron was still there, balling and carrying this team. I don't know, man. I think Giannis has more assets on the Bucks around him than LeBron has on the Lakers. I just feel like we cannot pass on Bron again. This is probably the last time he's going to be as an MVP contender because he's not getting younger. But this year, man, it just proved us all wrong. Everybody who keeps saying that next year Bron is going to be washed off. Like I'm kind of saying that right now, saying this is the last year he's going to be contending for the MVP, and I might be wrong, but I'm just saying LeBron just proved us all wrong again. LeBron just proved us he's still the guy.
Before Kyle jumps in here, I will for a fact tell you that you are wrong about next year. LeBron will be in the top 5 for MVP again next year.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I think as long as LeBron is in the league, he's going to be considered in the MVP race, no matter what. For the rest of his career, honestly.
Yeah,
he's arguably one of the best player. So he's always going to be there. I think this year I'm going to take Giannis, but again, I could easily be persuaded to choose Bron on this. So
yeah,
I'm Giannis, but LeBron is a really close second. You can't pass on him as a MVP in the next 2-3 years, however long he decides to stay in the league. So
listen, it's a tough year. It's a sentimental year for everybody who likes basketball. The Kobe passing away, we losing half of our season. We should be watching the playoffs right now. I understand why you guys picked Giannis, but on a sentimental side, adding to the stats and what a player is doing, man, this season just has to be LeBron MVP season.
Well, he could take the championship in that case, but I just think Giannis should have this one. I don't think because of what happened that it has to go to LeBron.
I'm not saying that.
Can't argue for it though.
LeBron can be without forgetting about everything that happened. LeBron is in the talks for the MVP, but I think with the whole thing, the way that season went and everything that happened, I don't know, man. I would just give it to Bron this year.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I think obviously Bron is the second candidate there, but the biggest point for me when it comes to justification for why Giannis is the MVP, it comes back to that minutes played per game. He's playing 3 to 4 minutes on average, less than everybody else that's being considered for this award, and his statistics are better across the board. So, I totally get the sentimentality of it all. And obviously what Bron's done is incredible, but just looking at record-wise and looking at individual statistics, I think anyone would be hard-pressed to, when it comes to the voters, are actually making decisions on this award. I don't know.
How do you feel about where things are going generally?
I think what I've seen to some extent is kind of a backlash against that very same PC culture that has been perpetuated for those past 8 years, especially with the rise of...
What do you got for me?
Devontae Graham.
Yeah, that's a solid one, man. He came out of nowhere.
I really like Devontae. I started following him everywhere. I just became a really huge fan of him, but there's no way this one goes away from Bam Adebayo.
You could argue Devontae Graham and Brandon Ingram.
No,
yeah, BI's been impressive. Bam's been impressive. All of those players have been really impressive.
I go with Bam. There's no way.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that I'd have to go with Bam too. Just because of, I know when it comes to MVP consideration, you kind of factor, the overall team record more into things than you would for kind of most improved player award. But Graham came out of nowhere, it's not like this is his first year in the league. He was in the G League, and what's funny? Another player you'd have to consider, Kendrick Nunn, bro. That fool was in the G League too,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just tossing him in there for reference, but I think it would have to be Graham. Yeah, I think it would have to be Graham, man. I think Adebayo's been insane, bro. His ability to handle the ball, score in the post, and also just run the offense from the top of the key has been dope. But if you had told me Graham would be doing what he is or what he was doing before the season got suspended, I would have just laughed at you.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a really big fan of him, but I think Bam, man, just the record.
I like Bam too. That was my 3 right there. So I had Devontae Graham, Brandon Ingram, and I had Bam Adebayo. But I could see your arguments for Devontae Graham because he did just kind of pop up overnight. So it wasn't we had an idea that he was going to improve. For me, my pick would be Brandon Ingram. He played last year, in LA, right?
Yeah.
And now he's coming back this year in New Orleans, and he's out there putting up numbers and becoming that guy, and becoming baby KD. So
yeah, no, I don't think any of that can be denied. Since being in NOLA, the guy is just his potential. Like I think he really finally sees potential where it's like there's like so many young pieces in New Orleans, and if they can find ways like salary cap wise to keep that group together, like 3 years from now, that could be crazy as well.
Yeah. And it wasn't Bam an all-star?
Bam was, bro.
Yeah, so I mean,
out of the three, he's the one who was like Brandon Ingram was an all-star too, but the only one going to the playoffs was Bam.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. The guy who contributed the most, the guy who helped carry his team to the playoffs to a better record while being an all-star, that's Bam Adebayo.
Totally,
yeah. You can make an argument for both of those. So I like.
Yeah,
that.
I think it's kind of almost like a coin flip there, like when it comes to like which side of that argument you'd like want to pick. But so that kind of wraps things up for us here on episode 2. We kind of ran it back here with the little sports time machine, talked about a little bit of soccer, some NFL rule changes, talked about Ricky Williams smoking dope and gets suspended for the 4th time. Some classic shit right there. Smoker's gonna smoke, baby. What did it do? Then we talked about gut. Then we talked about the NFL draft. We talked about some players we did like, we didn't like. We tossed around names like Isaiah Simmons. We talked about Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs. We talked about Javon Kinlaw. We talked about questions regarding, Jordan Love. Who else we talked about? Damon Arnett, the Raiders cornerback. It was a great draft all in all. Some good decisions, some bad decisions. Only time will tell, So you got to give each player in an NFL draft 2 to 3 years to really develop before you can make a conclusive decision. After talking about the NFL draft, we moved on to talking about the NBA playoff picture. We ran it through the East. We ran it through the West. We had the Bucks emerging out of the East and the Lakers emerging out of the West. It was a 2-3 split. The Lakers won the finals in the between the lines decision factory. So shouts out Braun, shouts out AD. Who knows really if the season's going to resume? I think nobody really knows, but hopefully it does, because I think America needs sports, man. This whole COVID-19 thing is just fucking everything up. So if we could get some basketball back and, some baseball sooner or later and, football starting when it normally does, that'd be pretty sick. And then we concluded with MVP, 6-man rookie of the year, and the most improved player. That's all I got. You guys got anything to add?
I think the NBA comes back and we have KD. It's a different game. Just saying.
All right, I'll be waiting on that, bro. When we do this podcast fucking 9 months from now, we can talk about that one.
Oh, for sure. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like. If you would like to add something to the discussion or give us any ideas or topics on our future shows, feel free to comment. And as always, don't forget to subscribe.